All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about Fate Strange Fate. Now, this is an anime and specifically a movie for now that was brought to my attention by a friend. And man, if you guys know anything, I'm a Fate fan and I was excited. I really just gave Fate a second chance, and this brought Fate back into the forefront of my mind as far as anime for the first time in a long time. Now, my last experience with Fate was the Heaven's Feel movies, and I recently bought them to try and rewatch and give them an in-depth look, but they weren't really hitting the first time, so I'm gonna give them a second chance, tell you what I think about this, and just really get back into Fate. Now, there have been a few movies, mainly the Grand Order, that I really want to give a second chance to go through Grand Order and not just hate it as much. But for right now, it's one I'm trying to do my best with to get back into and just kind of give it a feel for the original Fate feeling I got when I saw anime like Zero and Unlimited Blade Works, which I consider some of the best anime and some of the best projects anime has to offer in general. But what we're gonna do is talk about the setup of this new movie, what it means for the series that's coming later, and why it really just brought this anime and this franchise back to the forefront of my mind. Now, the first thing we're going to get into are the masters. Now, there are a number of masters, of course, in any Holy Grail war, but some of the most important ones, of course, are going to be Flat. He worked under a master that was in Fate Zero, and he was obviously the master of Rider, and that's Waver Velvet. But what Flat is basically a young teen or early college student that really doesn't have an idea of what's going on. He thinks the Grail War is just an opportunity for him to see things he hasn't experienced in the world, but he doesn't realize, and Waver brings this to his mind, you're gonna have to kill people to win, right? Are you prepared to kill to become the Grail's champion? And Flat still doesn't understand. And of course, his transformation through the Grail War is going to be one that's worth experiencing and seeing alongside his development. Now he, of course, has Jack the Ripper as the Berserker class, and it'll be interesting because Jack the Ripper, of course, is what seems to be an assassin servant, but he's brought up in a way that makes him seem like he's going to be the Berserker, and as he says so, I don't see how he differentiates himself from an assassin class, but I guess we're going to find out. Now, there are a few others, mainly the police chief. He seems like a mid-tier character, one that's not too interesting, so I'm going to kind of gloss over him. But of course, the most important is the Saber class. Now, we were told that there wasn't going to be a Saber class in this Holy Grail War, but at the end, of course, there has to be one, right? Saber class is the most important and seemingly the strongest position in every Grail War. And so there's not too much that's revealed because he comes in at the end of the movie. So if you've read the manga, you probably know. But as for anime viewers, there's not much to really look at. So he's mostly a mystery up till now. Now, of course, we get the Master of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is a beast. It is awesome. He comes back, his master is just someone that serves under him and is just protecting the land that they're on. The setting's in America, so we're going to explore that in a minute. The other thing to look at is his friend, who I didn't expect to be in the same Grail War, Enkidu, was summoned by, had a master, but a dog. An animal took over the master's position. And so in that way, the dog is now the one who has the command seals and is going to be controlling Enkidu. I was always curious if non-human beings could control servants. And I guess I had that answered because, yeah, guess what? There's a non-human master. And so when we take a look, we're actually going to see this non-human master kind of making things move. So I'm curious because I'm not sure how a dog is really going to operate well as far as the strategy of a Grail War and a Battle Royale. But hey, maybe they'll give the dog human-like intelligence. I'm not sure. But with all that being said, the Masters there's some interesting characters there. It's not the most interesting group. I think Zero has the best cast in that way, but there's enough there. Now, the thing that's interesting, more importantly, are the servants, right? So the servants here are kind of what does the heavy lifting, okay? And so the heavy lifting mainly comes from Gilgamesh, of course, a staple in the Fate franchise. And I'm glad he's back, not in the Babylonian way, but in the regular way where we actually see him against other high to mid tier servants. But the other dynamic I'm really interested in is him versus Enkidu. Enkidu came back, of course, made his appearance under the Dog Master, and it looks like he just wants all the smoke with Gilgamesh. He does not care. He's here to throw hands. He doesn't mind, getting physical and fighting, of course, with his old friend. Now that's a matchup, of course, we're looking forward to, and they seem to be the clear winners. I'm not sure how many servants can stack up to those two because they're on a relative level that seems to be above almost every other servant and class, right? I'm excited to see, and we'll see how things go. Um, Now the mage servant, I'm not too sure about because they don't. I don't know. I'm getting more assassin um, class from them, but they're a mystery, of course, and we'll see how things play out. Typically a fodder character, but we'll see. Uh, and mainly the other servants don't really play too much of a role in the early parts. We're gonna see, of course, the Berserker class with Jack the Ripper, and like I said, he's probably gonna play a role that just is hiding in the shadows and plays pretty much like an assassin class. He can change his appearance at will, and that is like some Assassin's Creed body switching technique or face switching. That doesn't really seem characteristic of the Berserker class at all. But I'll see how things play out, right? And of course, the most important servant is the Saber class. We don't know who it is. He looks strong as shit, but we're gonna wait and see what happens to him. And if he adds a lot of value, it's gonna be awesome to see because he has two high tier servants to go against in Enkidu and Gilgamesh, and that seems to be where the bread and butter of the series is gonna be. So I'm most excited for that, of course. But we'll see how these guys develop in their strength with respect to the two top tiers in this battle. Now the setting is obviously in America, in Snowfield, I believe, but it's a place very similar to Las Vegas. And it makes itself out to be pretty much like it. You even see the airport. It looks like McCarran Airport, and yeah, it's just pretty much set up to be like a U.S. Vegas type setting, and we even see U.S. officers and field agents move in and do certain things under specific master's command. So the setting's cool. They finally moved out of Japan, finally moved out of Tokyo. It's just good to see something new and fresh from the Fate series, and we get to see it with some very high class servants. But that's it for now. The impression I got from the movie was like absolutely amazing, 10 out of 10. If you're excited for the new series, just go ahead, give that movie a watch. It's pretty short, under an hour. And if you're into Fate, you'll love it. If you haven't tried Fate, this might be the one that kickstarts it for you. This is some of the best animation I've seen in a movie in years. If you have any kind of, uh, position towards battle royales, this is the anime for you. So I'd go ahead and give it a try. But that's it for now. More comments coming soon.